The Soundcore Life Q35 are the latest active noise cancelling headphones coming from Soundcore. Much like the Q30 before them, these are packing a long list of features. But as good as these headphones sound on paper, they are not perfect, and I'm here to give you both the good and the bad so you know exactly what you're going to get for your hard-earned money. Now, my name is Jeff, and if you have any questions or concerns about the way that I receive or review any of the products on this channel, including these headphones, please refer to the full disclosure in the description box right down below. So now, let's not waste any more time. So first up, what's included in the box? So obviously they're going to give you the instruction manuals and all of that regular stuff. Now they're also going to include a case for these headphones, and it's pretty nice. I expected no less from Soundcore, and it has a nice velvety feel to it. Inside that, you're also going to find two cables. One of them is going to be a 3.5mm aux cable, and you're also going to have a USB-C to USB-A charging cable. So you've got both of those right there. As far as what's in the box, that is pretty much it. So now let's move over to the connection. So first up, these are featuring Bluetooth 5.0 along with AAC and SBC as the connection codecs, making them compatible with both Android and iOS. Now, one of the brand new features to these headphones is the addition of the LDAC codec. Now, if you're unfamiliar with LDAC, this is a high-res audio codec that allows your phone to transmit more data to the headphones and theoretically giving you better sound quality. If you want to find out more information about LDAC versus aptX and the other codecs, my buddy Juan Bagnell did an awesome video on that, and I will leave a link to that in the description box down below. Now, as far as pairing these headphones, you can obviously pair them with Bluetooth, or you can use NFC if you have a compatible device. Both of them work very well. Pairing happens just like that, so super easy to do. As far as range with these headphones, I managed to get right around 37 feet or about 11.2 meters. So overall, pretty good range. Now, when it comes to lag or latency, when watching videos, Hulu, Netflix, Disney+, things of that nature, there was little to no lag on any of my devices. Now, as far as gaming goes, there is a little bit of lag or latency when you're playing first-person shooter games like Call of Duty. I did notice it a couple times, but at other points in the game, I really couldn't tell at all, and I was having a great time. So overall, the latency is really not that bad, especially if you're a casual gamer. Maybe if you're more of a hardcore first-person shooter guy, then it could be an issue, and you might have to look elsewhere. Now, last but not least, these headphones also feature multi-point connectivity. That means that you can actually connect these headphones to two devices at the same time. So if you're one of those people that like to have your phone connected, but also connected to your laptop, or maybe to your tablet and also to your phone, they've got you covered. Now, let's go ahead and move over to the battery life. So Soundcore was claiming 40 hours with noise cancellation turned on and 60 hours with noise cancellation turned off. In my actual testing, I managed to get 38 hours and 17 minutes with noise cancellation turned on, and then 60 hours and 36 minutes with noise cancellation turned off. So very good as far as that battery life is concerned. Now, if you do manage to actually drain the battery out completely from these headphones, you can charge them for 5 minutes, and that's going to give you an additional 4 hours worth of charge. So that fast charge feature really does come into play if you ever need it. And then as far as charging the headphones themselves, they do have a USB Type-C port, and as I said before, that USB-C cable is included in the case. Now that's going to bring us over to the comfort, the build, and the controls. Now, the Life Q35 are 99% identical to the Life Q30. The only difference physically that I have found is in the actual ear pads themselves. So one of my gripes that I had with the original Q30 was that the pads were just too shallow for somebody with large ears like mine. Or if you have ears that stick out, it could be a bit uncomfortable. Well, they address this directly by giving us thicker and more cushioned ear pads with more depth. So the Life Q35 are easily more comfortable than the Life Q30. So that is something that I immediately noticed. The build quality is still the same, nice strong build quality. The upgraded ear pads definitely make a difference. And as before, these are still compatible with a massive head like my own. So unless you have some sort of gigantic pumpkin head, then you might have an issue at that point, but if you're like me with just a big-headed dude, it's not going to be a problem. Now, as far as the controls go, these are using mostly button controls. Very tactile, they're very easy to learn. You're going to get your play, pause, skip track, power, volume, active noise cancellation modes, so they've got you covered. Now they do have one touch control, and that's when you touch the right ear cup, that's going to activate the quick attention mode. And that basically turns on the microphones or transparency mode. And this way you can have a conversation with somebody if they walk up to you and ask you a question. Then last but not least, they also feature wear detection, and this is where they will automatically play and pause as you put them on your head or remove them. Now, this is a function that you can turn off if you're somebody who doesn't like that feature, but I'll talk a little bit more about that later on in this video. Now, before we move further, I'm going to give you a quick sound leakage test. Now, this is something I normally don't do in my videos, but people have been asking for it, so I'm a man of the people. Let me give you that quick sound leakage test. Now that's going to bring us over to the Soundcore app. So the app overall is very well fleshed out, but it is simple. So first and foremost, you're going to get access to like firmware updates, toggles to turn off that wear detection. You're also going to get all of the EQ adjustments, 22 presets, along with your own customizable EQ. You're also going to get control over the listening modes. So you're going to have your normal, you're going to have your transparency mode and your 3 active noise cancellation modes. And then last but not least, on the last panel is going to be the different sleep mode settings. And that's when you can add a bunch of different white noise sounds, you know, water, drops, wind chimes, thunderstorm. You can mix and match them. So they've got all of that in the app. So make sure you download that app for both Android or iOS and kind of get in there and play around with it. See what you can find. Now, this is going to bring us over to the performance of these headphones. So first, let's start with the active noise cancellation. So the ANC on these headphones is still very strong. Much like the Life Q30, these are easily one of the strongest noise cancellation that you can get for under $200. So very strong and easily can compete with the top dogs in the industry. Now, is it going to be better or beating the Sony XM4 or XM3? No, but it's going to give you 90 to 95% of that noise cancellation. I literally pitted them against each other here in my studio to see which one was better, and the difference, it's really not that massive. So that's pretty impressive if you ask me, from a quote-unquote budget headphone. Now, active noise cancellation on these headphones has 3 modes. You've got your transport, you've got your indoors, and you've got your outdoors. The transport is going to be the strongest one, and in my testing, it blocked out more ambient sound than anything else. The indoor mode is slightly less strong, and then your outdoor mode is the weakest of the 3. As far as noise cancellation, like I said before, it is on par, if not maybe slightly better than the Q30. Now, unfortunately, there are some issues with the active noise cancellation when sound quality comes into the equation. I'll elaborate on that a little bit later in this video. So that's going to bring us over to the transparency mode, and it's actually pretty good. There is a slight improvement over the Life Q30 here. It could be attributed to different microphones, to the different software going on with the Life Q35, but there is a slight noticeable improvement here. So overall, very good. And once again, you do have the quick attention mode, so put your hand over the right ear cup and that will activate the transparency mode just like that. Next up, let's get into the volume. So as far as volume, these are going to get an 8.5 to a 9 out of 10 on my volume scale. So very loud and more than loud enough for me. Overall, comfortable listening for me comes in right around 60 to 75% volume. I rarely go above that. Maybe if I'm listening to an audiobook when audio gets a little quiet or the dialogue gets a little quiet, then maybe I'll turn it up. But for the most part, never go over 75% volume with these. So now let's move over to the sound quality. Now, we're going to kind of get into this here. So first up, let's talk about normal mode. So in normal mode, that's no ANC, no transparency, just straight up normal mode. Too much bass, straight up. Just too much bass. I mean, if you're a bass head, then that's probably going to be okay. But for a headphone that's supposed to be high res, LDAC, that whole thing, this ain't it, Chief. Like, the bass is too strong. It pushes straight through the mids and it muddies up the sound. I'm the kind of person that wants a bit more vocal clarity. I want to hear the instruments. I want to hear the musicians. I want to hear the singers, both male and female. And with all of that bass coming through, it does not sound good in that signature mode. Now, these do still have potential because if you go into the EQ app, you can EQ them and make them sound really, really good, like exceptionally good. But you really got to get in there and really mess with those settings to get it to sound right. Now, secondly, moving over to the active noise cancellation mode or transparency mode. When you activate that, the shift in the EQ is huge, and it goes from this overly bassy, boomy kind of sound where you're like, oh man, I got to make some adjustments here. it totally drops all of that out and you lose a good majority of the bass and like the low mids. It almost makes it sound anemic to where now you got to go back into the EQ to sort of start making more adjustments to sort of balance out that sound once again. This is a big wide EQ shift that I'm just not feeling. Like I'm not feeling this in both modes. With a lot of EQ work, these can sound amazing. These have so much potential, but they're being bogged down by this Soundcore signature sound that just isn't working in both of these modes. It's just not. Now, let's talk about some of the gripes that I have. And in my previous video for the Soundcore Life Q30, I had 4 main gripes. First was the comfort because of the shallow ear pads. They took care of that. They improved the ear pads, so kudos to them because they did make that happen. Got to give credit where credit is due. Also, the poor call quality. They improved that as well. So we got to give them credit for that as well. They did improve the latency. They didn't give us a gaming mode, but the latency has improved. So we got to give them kudos for that as well. But my biggest gripe with the Life Q30 was that EQ shift. And I said it specifically in that video directly to Soundcore about that EQ shift. And then we get the Life Q35, which I'm hoping is going to be that improvement. And it's actually worse. It's actually worse than the Life Q30. Like, what? How is this possible, man? So more than anything, I'm just disappointed. Like, it's just disappointing because it feels like me giving them this feedback in that video, me giving them feedback via email, it's just like falling on deaf ears. Now, I'm not taking shots at my 2 contacts at Soundcore. When I send messages like this, they receive them, they acknowledge it, they pass it on to who they're going to pass it on to. But somewhere along the line, it's just not getting through. And that's what really disappoints me because these headphones have so much potential. They can sound amazing, but this huge EQ shift issue, I can let it slide. That's not something where I can feel comfortable recommending them to you when I'm hearing something like this happening. This shouldn't be happening, especially on a headphone coming in at a more expensive price than the previous model. Now, once again, I hope that this is something that they can address with a firmware update. But considering that this is how they came out of the box, I don't know. I just don't know. Considering the higher price tag, we shouldn't be forced to have to EQ them to make them sound good. They should sound good out of the box. And then if we want to make adjustments, we have the option, but we shouldn't be forced to do so to get rid of that muddiness in normal mode or to bring some of that bass back in noise cancellation mode. Does that make sense to you? Let me know in the comment section. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know down in the comments. With that said, do I recommend you upgrading? If you have the Q30 right now, should you upgrade to the Q35? No. Unless you're okay with making all of those EQ adjustments, then hey man, your money. But right now, I would say no. And if you're somebody who doesn't have either of these headphones, and you're trying to figure out which one you want to get, honestly, right now, the better buy is still going to be the Life Q30. Being that it comes in around $70 to $80, you're going to get 99% of the features of the Q35. That's really going to be the no-brainer here. Unless you are okay with doing all that EQ adjusting, then once again, feel free, knock yourself out. It's your money, you make it happen. Now, before we move on, let me play you some call quality clips. I want you to hear the improvements in the call quality both indoors and outdoors for yourself. All right, so here we have the call quality test outdoors for the Soundcore Life Q35. So testing, 1, 2, 3. As you can see, it's a bit windy, a bit breezy out here, so it should make for a good test. Testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, so here we have the call quality test for the Soundcore Life Q35 indoors. So testing, 1, 2, 3. This is what you can expect from the Soundcore Life Q35 indoors. As always, you got to be the judge of the call quality down in the comment section. So with all of that out of the way, if you're interested in checking out maybe my review of the Life Q30 or even some of my top 5 true wireless earbuds that are hitting the market right now for under $100, check out the videos that I'm going to leave right up here on the screen. With all of that said, I'm out of here. Peace.